I'm Wade Wingler with the Data Project at Easter Seals Crossroads in Indiana. One of the things we do here at Easter Seals Crossroads is job accommodations. We spend a lot of time with people with disabilities on the job site trying to figure out how to make things work a little bit better. Recently, Brian Norton, who manages our clinical assistive technology team, did a job site accommodation that had to do with keys and locksmiths and access to those things. So Brian's going to walk you through some of the solutions and some of the brainstorming process he went through to figure out this pretty cool job accommodation. So let's go see what Brian has.
Hi, my name is Brian Norton, Manager of Clinical Assistive Technology here at Easter Seals Crossroads, and I'm glad to be with you today. Today we're going to take a look at kind of a low-tech tech tip, if you will. So to kind of preface what we're going to look at today, I was recently out on a job accommodation working with a person in a locksmith shop, and one of the challenges we had, this particular person had a spinal cord injury. He was having a real difficulty looking at keys on the back wall. This place had a wall full of keys. I estimated anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 keys on the back wall. And obviously with a spinal cord injury, he wasn't able to reach them. They went all the way up to about 89 inches high. And so we obviously had to look at different ways to accommodate that. And so a couple of those things that we looked at specifically in his situation were, here we had all of these little keys, and the first thing that popped into my mind is I went to my automotive background and hardware background and looked at magnetic extensions. So this is kind of a pointing device, reacher, grabber kind of thing that has a magnetic end on it, and I thought, well, we could just poke up there and try to get it off the rack using this type of thing. Luckily, the locksmiths who have been doing this a while basically said to me, Brian, keys aren't metal anymore, so they don't work. So we couldn't use the magnetic end on it. So then what we did is we went to Joann, etc., and we took a look in there. That's always a great place to go for low-tech kinds of things. And we found some glue dots, and we were able to stick some glue dots on the end. It's got a big enough surface for them. And then we were able to then tack up there and try to grab the keys using glue dots. Although effective, it wasn't probably the best solution because if you miss, you grab the wrong key. Not necessarily the greatest. We also looked at some other kinds of things. This is really kind of a neat tool. You can find these at your local hardware store. They cost oftentimes less than $5. This is kind of a flexible reacher and grabber. It's made for the automotive industry or other places where you have to kind of pick up screws. Maybe you're working on something and you drop a screw down in. But if you notice, if you kind of push down on the little plunger on the back of it, some little metal prongs come out and allow you to grab smaller types of things, and we thought we might be able to use those for the keys as well. Again, pretty effective, but wasn't very efficient for the person. So the second thing we looked at, or the third thing, I guess, we looked at maybe possibly getting a 3-ring binder and putting some pocket sleeves into it. And the pocket sleeves would allow us to be able to categorize all the keys onto shelves and put them into into the individual pockets, label them, and organize them in a way that he could find those keys pretty fast. This is probably less than $15. 3-ring binders, believe it or not, are pretty expensive depending on where you go. Anywhere from $10 to $15, but then to get the pocket sleeves, those are very inexpensive and easily replaceable. Another option we came up with too in that particular instance are these cool little shelf liners, and they're little storage cases. And oftentimes, this one's kind of a small example of one. Oftentimes they're much deeper, and they have individual slots. And we thought, another way we could do and might work for this individual would be to put the keys into those individual slots, and again organize them in pretty much the same fashion we'd use the 3-ring binder and the pocket sleeves. Organize them by type of key and so on and so forth. So those are just a couple of low-tech types of accommodations for an interesting situation that I found myself in, and hopefully might be helpful for others as they think about what they run into as well. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
So it's important to remember, it's not always just about the technology. Sometimes it's about the creative ideas and the process you go through to get to those solutions. So that's your tech tip for this week. I'm Wade Wingler with the Data Project at Easter Seals Crossroads in Indiana.